What is going on, college sports fans? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a great day, and we just witnessed an amazing Sweet 16 round in March Madness. We're going to recap it here for you guys, and also at the end of the video, we are going to check in and see who is winning our tournament challenge group, so make sure you stay tuned at the end for that. But yeah, man, we had a crazy Sweet 16 round. We've seen St. Peter's become the first ever 15 seed to make the Elite Eight, and they are having one of the best Cinderella runs of all time, and that is not an exaggeration. Like, this is actually one of the best Cinderella runs of all time. And if they make the Final Four, it will be the best. Like, there's no way it's not number one if they make the Final Four and they beat North Carolina, which brings me to another thing that has been happening, and everyone needs to recognize that the ACC has been so impressive this tournament. They came into this tournament with 4 teams making the tourney, being Duke, North Carolina, Miami, and Notre Dame, and 3 of those 4 are in the Elite Eight. And Miami had an impressive showing as well, as they won first round and they won in the first 4, so they won 2 games in the tournament. But then they lost to a Texas Tech team close. Like, that is a good loss. Like, Texas Tech is a great team. So I give the ACC a ton of props. They are very impressive. And I think next year when we make our brackets, we're going to have to be prepared. Like, the ACC, even if they look weak during the regular season, they are going to come to play in the tourney. And they still have a lot of talent in that conference. So also, Coach Sampson, we need to recognize him as one of the best coaches in all of college basketball, because the defensive performance he put up to beat Arizona and held them to only 60 points, that is so impressive. Like, Coach Sampson, one of my favorite coaches right now, he is awesome. All right, but let's get into recapping these games real quick. I just had to go over a couple of those top storylines that just really impressed me over the Sweet 16 weekend, and it was a lot of fun. So, our first game on Thursday was Arkansas versus Gonzaga, and how about Arkansas, man? Woo pig. I was watching this game on stream, man, and they double teamed Drew Timme in the post. They made other players beat them, and Nembhard wasn't having a good day. Nobody was hitting threes for Gonzaga on the kickouts. I don't think that they made more than 1 3 the entire second half, and the 1 3 came from Chet Holmgren on a transition fast break. So they missed like all of those kickout threes that Drew Timme was kicking them out to, and it was honestly just a great game plan. You make somebody else beat you. You don't let Drew Timme work you one-on-one in the post. Also, Chet Holmgren fouled out with about like 3 minutes left in the game, which was huge. And Jalen Williams, he was playing with 4 fouls throughout the last few minutes, and he stayed in there. He didn't foul. So that was a big help as well. And yeah, they made their free throws down the stretch, and they finished this game a lot like they did last week against New Mexico State. They had to finish with defense and free throws, and they got it done. So Arkansas moves on to the Elite Eight. Woo pig, baby. Michigan versus Villanova. I wasn't watching too much of this game because these 2 games were going on at the same time. I was kind of switching between both on stream, but this game was closer, so I was watching that one. But from what I could tell, Villanova kind of had this 8 to 9 point lead throughout the entire second half while I was score checking. So they kind of controlled this game throughout, which is kind of what I expected them to do. Jay Wright is an excellent coach, and even though they don't have a true 7-footer to guard Hunter Dickinson, they threw some doubles at him. They made it very difficult on the entry passes to the post, to where Hunter Dickinson, they denied him the ball a lot. And while he did do some damage in this game, it wasn't enough to beat them, and I think they knew that going into it, that he was going to get his baskets, and that's okay. It's okay to let somebody get their baskets as long as you are scoring on the other end, which is what they were doing, and they pulled through, got the win. Jay Wright, awesome game plan. I knew he would do it. And we had Texas Tech versus Duke. And this game was a lot of fun because it was close throughout the entire game. Texas Tech brought that length, that lead, that veteran presence that I expected them to bring, especially on the defensive end. And Kevin O'Banner had a pretty good game. He was knocking down a few threes throughout. But we get to the end game, and It's about 3 minutes left. Paolo hits like a step back three over O'Banner, gives them a 1 point lead with just under 3 minutes left in the game. And that kind of sets up Duke's win, as after that, Roach, who has been huge for Duke in the tournament, and he might be the reason that they are this far, because down the stretch, they give the ball to Roach, and he does not disappoint. He had a couple mid-range shots down the stretch of this game, which really kind of pulled it away. And, Texas Tech hit a three with about 13 seconds left, which cut it to 2 point lead. But then Duke went out, made their free throws, and from that point on, it was game over. They finished the game with the free throws. Roach came up huge. Paulo hit that big three, which put him up at first. And then Roach kind of finished it throughout down the stretch. And to have a point guard like that you can trust down the stretch is huge, especially whenever he's not like your top star, but he can still go out there in the clutch and get buckets. That is huge to have a shot maker at that point in the game, and you need that if you're going to win a championship. So that is huge. Duke pulls out the win. Coach K is going to the Elite Eight in his last season, man. Then we had Houston versus Arizona, and this game was so fun to watch. Like, this Houston team is very fun to watch. I mean, defensively, I think at one point at the end of the first half I was watching, they got like a steal, they forced a turnover, and then they got a huge block, like 3 possessions in a row, and then they went back on the other end and scored. And they do what they do best, man. They get a turnover on defense, or they get a rebound. Every shot is contested against Houston. Like, they are so good about that. And Coach Sampson deserves so much credit because he is doing this all. Like, he has potential to go to back-to-back Final Fours. I cannot wait to watch this Houston-Villanova game tonight. It's going to be awesome. But Sampson has the chance to go to back-to-back Final Fours, and he doesn't even have Marcus Sasser this year. Like, that is insane. But yeah, their game plan, they do what they do best. They get offensive rebounds, second chance points, they're going to finish it. They get it down to the post. They don't care who is guarding you in the post. They get it down into the post. They don't do anything fancy. Boom, drop step, bucket. And then it's just crazy, man. They're very good at fundamentals. They're good at defense. They're good at offensive rebounding. And it's just very impressive. They're a very fun team to watch if you enjoy watching like a very well-coached defensive, good at positioning on rebounds, like everything, like all the little things. If you like watching basketball like that and you have not watched Houston yet this year, watch Houston versus Villanova, because both of those teams kind of are great fundamentally and very well coached. It's going to be a great game. So make sure you tune in for that game, because I know I'm going to be watching it. It's going to be amazing. So now let's get into our Friday games. And I was actually watching St. Peter's Purdue while I was out to eat yesterday. And let me tell you, the whole place, mind you, we are nowhere near New Jersey. The whole place was wanting St. Peter's to win, including myself. I mean, I love an underdog. I wanted to see St. Peter's make the Elite Eight. And they won this game down the stretch by making free throws. They set themselves up in a position. One guy hit a floater, which gave them a 2-point lead. And then after that, Purdue couldn't hit a shot. They kept trying to get the ball down to Travion Williams in the post, and he was just not delivering. St. Peter's had some excellent post defense on him. I think he actually might have airballed a couple. But St. Peter's was making their free throws down the stretch. They were up, I think, by 4. They were up by 4. And then Jaden Ivey dribbles down, shoots a deep 3, probably an NBA range 3, drills it, cuts the lead to 1 with, I think, like 25 or 30 seconds left. Then St. Peter's, they get the ball in, they don't turn it over, they get it down the court, waste a little bit of time, actually, probably like 10 seconds before Purdue fouls, and then they knock down their free throws. They go up 3, 67-64. Jaden Ivey and Purdue have another shot, dribble down, shoot a very deep three, probably just in the middle of the three-point line in half court. And it almost bounced in. Actually, like, watching it live, I thought Purdue was going to hit the tying three and we were going to see overtime. But they ended up missing because Jaden Ivey just hit a three before that as well. So I thought that his second one was going to bounce in. I was about to go nuts. But St. Peter's moves on, becomes the first ever 15 seed to the Elite Eight. It is a ton of fun, and I cannot wait to watch them face North Carolina to see if they'll make the Final Four as a 15 seed. That would be crazy. But then we had Providence and Kansas, and Providence was actually in good position. They had a great defensive game plan for Ochai Abachi, and I just love watching good coaches coach. And Ed Cooley had a good game plan for Ochai Abachi, and he held him to not very many points all the way throughout till the end. And even in the end, it wasn't Ochai Abachi except one time he caught a crazy alley-oop pass where his head was nearly at the rim. But yeah, Kansas went on, I think, like a 9-0 run there at the end, I think with like 3 minutes left, and they pulled away. They were knocking down free throws at the end because, of course, Providence is going to foul intentionally. But they knocked down their free throws. Providence hit a couple buckets late as well to try to hang in there a little bit. But Kansas, that run at the end, got them the victory. They are the last 1 seed remaining in this tournament. That is crazy. I don't know the last time we've only had 1 seed left, only in the Elite Eight. Like, usually 2 1 seeds at least will make the Final Four. So I need to look that up sometime. When is the last time we didn't have any 1 seeds in the Final Four? Then we had North Carolina and UCLA. Now, this was an awesome game. It was close throughout the entire thing. And it looked like UCLA was kind of maybe the better team throughout the game. It seemed like throughout the last 5 minutes or so, it was Caleb Love and also Brady Manick who were just shooting threes every time down the court, but they were hitting. So they were staying in the game because they'd hit a three every other possession because they were just throwing them up, it seemed like. But UCLA, they go on top. And then with about like a minute and a half left, Caleb Love pulls up a three, drills it. They get a stop on the other end. And then Caleb Love dribbles down the court and transition, hits like a fadeaway from the wing, and drills another three, which puts North Carolina in the lead with like 50 seconds left, or closer to a minute than 50 seconds, but 50-something seconds left. UCLA calls a timeout, and Caleb Love is hyped, man. That boy is a beast. But then down the stretch, UCLA was down by 3 with about 45 seconds left in the game. Enough time to where they weren't going to foul down by 3. They were going to play a straight-up possession, try to get a stop, and then go out and try to make a 3 on the other end. This was their last chance because they're not going to extend the game. They're trying to get a stop. So they were trying to get a stop. North Carolina takes all the shot clock. R.J. Cole dribbles down the lane. Floater. Bounces around. No good. But right after it comes off of the rim, Armando Bacot tips it in. They go up by 5. And that's pretty much game at that point. Up 5. They wasted all that clock, so there's only about 10, 11 seconds left. Huge tip in by Armando Bacot. That was the dagger. And then UCLA go down. Couldn't hit a shot. I think Yaquez tries to shoot a 3. Misses. Rebound Carolina. Game over. And then they actually had to come back out on the court because it turns out there was a foul with like 2 seconds left. So, but it was kind of meaningless, but they had to call it. So, yeah, that was the end of that one. Then we had our last game. Not too much to talk about here, but Miami kind of controlled the game throughout the whole second half. And McGusty was hitting a bunch of threes. You know, that's what he does. their center, he's really good. I can't think of his name right now. He was outstanding, passing the ball around. That 5-out that they play, he's very crucial part of that 5-out, because having a big guy that can pass and also shoot the three is very important. And he was getting some blocks, he was getting some steals, some points off the fast break. I mean, he really does do it all, and they have guys that can score at every position, and that is just awesome. Miami, look out for Miami, Kansas, because I like this Miami team a lot. I think that they could pull off that upset. So, that does it for the recap. Now, let's get into who is winning our Tournament Challenge group after the Sweet 16. So, my bracket's not doing too good. We're not going to look at mine. But in first place, we have someone with a 99.6% correct bracket, and that is Owen Jones. I think he was actually in the lead. Maybe it wasn't last week, but he was in the lead at some point. Let's take a look at his bracket, because he's got a 99.6% bracket. I got to take a look at this, man. So he had Villanova right. He had Arizona here. Arizona was his champion. So, guys, do not give up hope. If you guys are close, you can still catch him, because his champion's out. He had Duke right, but then he had Gonzaga there. He actually only has one of his Final Fours left, and this is a 99.6% bracket. That is surprising. How much Elite Eights did he have left? Did he get right? He had 2 up there, and then he had 2 down here. So he had 4 of 8 Elite 8 picks right, and that's considered very good this year, because this bracket, I mean, this year's March Madness has been crazy, so I give him a ton of props. Good job, Owen Jones. And then second place, we had Caleb Tankersley. I think he was up here also maybe last week, but he also had Villanova and Duke making it. He also had Arizona as his champion. He had Iowa State in the Final Four, but they just got cut short last night. He only has one of his Final Four left as well. But he actually only had 3 of 8 Elite Eights. So, alright, and now we will look at our third place bracket. Mr. Bust That Bracket, he's been on top a little bit too, and his champion's still in. He has Miami as his champion. I wonder if he's a Miami fan. Let's see if they can get it done. So he had Duke right up here. That's his only Elite 8 right. He had Elite 8 team that he had right up there, and then he had Miami, Kansas up here. So he also had 3 out of 8 Elite 8s. Good job, guys. Let's see if you guys can pull out the win here for our bracket challenge. And yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Let me know down in the comment section, who do you think is winning the 2 Elite 8 games tonight? I think it is Houston-Villanova, which is going to be an awesome one. And then it should be Duke versus Arkansas. That is going to be another good one as well. So 2 very good games tonight. Winners go to the Final Four. Let me know down below who you think is going to win. And make sure you guys are subscribed. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And yeah, it's been your boy Danny.